Can y'all hear me? All right, mic check 1, 2. All right, so they have juggled the tables around in this building. They're ordering more. So that side of the room, y'all aren't going to get tables. And we're only using this projector, so if you want to not have to crane your neck, but you're finally going to throw there too.
We are friendly. You can move over here.
They've all been fed. Upstairs. Nobody should bite.
That's my co-worker role over here.
So now you're on a personal cheering session.
Indeed.
That's what it is. They're off the camera side. All right, so hopefully you're here for the Raleigh SEO meetup, because that's what we're going to do, and I hope that's what you're looking for. We're going to talk about content marketing, but before we get into that, I want to make a few quick announcements. I juggled the schedule around. It's been a few months ago now, so I feel bad saying new schedule, because everybody that's been here has heard me say that half a dozen times. But if you're new, you've never heard me say this yet, you have a new schedule. From 5 until 6:30, I bribe you to not sit in traffic and instead to come down here, network with other marketing professionals, and have some pizza. The pizza is provided by our sponsors. So if anybody enjoyed the pizza upstairs, quick show of hands or round of applause or anything. Encourage folks to come out and join the networking and socialize, and that's where the business cards are exchanged and fun things like that. Snap a picture at some point during the event. And if you tweet it and mention our sponsors, it helps me to get them to renew and buy more pizza.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm not above bribing people with pizza. So that's from 5 till 6:30. After that wraps up, we come down here from 6:30 until 8 for the presentation. And then at 8, I chase everybody out of the building, but we're not quite done with you yet. There's usually a small group that goes down to Rookies, which is just a few blocks away from here, to have a beer and socialize and network there as well. There's a good number of people that don't get out of work until 5. They're in downtown Raleigh, getting here by 6:30, like Cole's watching the front door. I'm starting to pick on you, but he's been kind enough to watch the door and let people in. So yeah, some folks, it's unreasonable to expect them to get here before 6:30, and so we also have the networking at the end. Your choice, either or both, make an evening of it. Without further ado, those sponsors that I was hinting and telling you guys that we have. Right up at the top, we have the Raleigh SEO Conference, which is coming up in May. And that's part of the way that we help to provide all the pizza and support for having these events. If you take a look at RaleighSEOconference.com, you'll notice that that URL is easy to remember, but long to type in. But it redirects to an even longer address, so it makes it easy for you to find it, RaleighSEOconference.com. Grab your tickets. The super early bird special on those tickets will be ending on Friday, so the lowest possible price is between now and Friday. And to sweeten the deal, if you put in Raleigh SEO, no, wrong code. Don't put in Raleigh SEO, you won't get anything on. SEO Meetup, that's the code. If you type in SEO Meetup into the discount code, you'll get an extra $50 off of your ticket. So take advantage of that. I heard an awe in the back already. If you forgot to take advantage of that, let me know and we can work that out retroactively. Cannot install updates. That is because we don't want to. This computer has not been turned on in roughly a year. So it may interrupt once or twice with similar statements. And we're just going to tell it to leave us alone. All right, continuing down the sponsor list. You all know about the conference, right? Deep Crawl. Look to the right. Deep Design. Reunion Marketing. Wingswept, and Opsis Marketing. are all of our sponsors for 2019. Those are the folks that you want to @mention on those tweets, thanking them for helping us to put on these events. And you know what I forgot to add to my list of notes here?
What's that?
Your name is Chris, right?
Indeed.
Hey, I got it right. I am terrible with names. Patrick will attest to that. I think it was around 2 or 3 years that I knew Patrick before I started saying, your name starts with a P, right? So, ridiculously bad with names. But Chris is going to talk with us about content marketing. I met him at Internet Summit, and we bumped into each other once or twice since then. We got to chatting about content marketing, and he's got some interesting insights in that area. Without further ado, the floor is yours.
Thank you, thank you. All right, so, well, first of all, thanks everybody for coming out. And this is called, as you can see, No Time, No Team, No Problem. Content marketing for everyone. So, first thing, let's talk about what is this even about, this whole thing? Why did you come out? Well, firstly, what is content? People say content this and content that, but what is it? Like, let's talk about that. And then, once you figure out what it is, now I'm going to tell you why you should care about it. Yes, we all know you need it, but really, why should you have it? And then, the biggest thing that almost everybody's ever tried to make content space at one point or another, what if you make content and everybody just ignores you? And what can you do about it? And basically, how can you share that content? Because again, this ain't Field of Dreams. If you build it, doesn't mean they're going to come. So we're talking about how we can actually use it. And so, talking about no time, no team, no problem, we're talking about who this presentation is actually for. Who's going to get the most out of this? So, firstly, we're going to focus mostly on small agencies and in-house guys, in-house marketers. And also, as the title states, marketers with limited time, limited budgets, have other things to do, other things they need to do. Small business owners who, it's not their job. They're not marketers. They're trying to run a business.
Can you maybe dim some of the front lights? I think your slides might be easier to see. I'll be the person in the back.
Yeah.
Keep going off.
All right.
Figure out the lights.
All right. And finally, this is really for anybody in a small business or an agency, small agency, knows there's always the one person who gets put in charge of everything digital because somehow the boss found out they used Facebook once. You know, so it's for them. It's going to make their life a little bit easier. All right. So firstly, what is content? Is it just the words? Is it images? What is it? So, and as you can see right there, I love this quote about content. Content marketing isn't something you can just do once and then forget about. You have to make a commitment to always put out good content. One and done, you're going to fail. So again, what is it? So, is content just the stuff on your blog? Is it the email marketing, the e-blast you send out to like all of your contacts, stuff like that? Is it stuff you put on social? Or is it like the images that you use in your products and your pay-per-click ads or whatever, not pay-per-click, but you know, your social ads and things like that? Or is it the words on your calls to action and actually on your website? Easy answer, yeah? That's it. That's it. So content is all of those things. It's not just the pictures, it's not just the words, it's not just your blog. It's all of that. That's all has to be good content. Just not today, because we don't have a lot of content. So the only thing today we're going to focus on, for the sake of clarity and keep it brief, are blog posts. So the biggest thing with blog posts are that people sometimes don't really understand blog posts aren't just, I'm just going to focus on my blog account. There's so much more you can actually do with blog posts. You can do your e-blast, social media, and stuff like that, and we'll get into that in detail later. So now we know what it is, why should we even care about it? And I love this quote, and I say this all the time about other things. Just because I don't care doesn't mean I don't understand. So you know what it is. I mean, people keep telling you, write content, right? But why? Why should you even care? And we're going to talk to the people that I've noticed who always say they don't have time, they don't care about writing content. The biggest offenders on this are e-commerce and dropshipper types. People who are just about I want to sell things. I don't care if you read my blog. I don't need to write this content. Just move my products. Those are the first people I run into with this. Then we have the mom and pops, the small business owners, who are like, I'm trying to run a business here. You know, who's going to care what I even say? Because who am I in the grand scheme of things? You know, why should I bother? And then we have the flip side of that. The humongous international brands who just say, okay, you all know me, so I'm too big to really care. You're going to come see me anyway. You already know who I am. Why should I even bother? And then we have education and training organizations that think our brand name is good enough. If you want this training, if you want our reputation, you're going to come because you know who we are. We're living off our reputation. And finally, everybody. Everybody in this room who's worked with a client or in an agency or in any kind of business has heard the one sentence again and again. I don't have time to write anything. I just don't have the time. Well, when people say this, I do that. That's the face I make. Because it just shows that they don't really understand why they should care about content. Well, the biggest reasons isn't just you're doing something nice for people and trying to build your brand, although that is an aside. But when you do it right, good quality content can drive your sales pipeline. I mean, you just can. I mean, we've seen it happen. You have quality content, people will engage with you. We'll get into that in a few minutes. But it also can help you become an industry thought leader. So as big as your brand name is, or as big as you might think it is, you can always be bigger if you're providing good content and helping people understand, oh, so that's why they are who they are. You know what I mean? Lead the industry in whatever field that you're in. Also, it can help you drive backlinks. I don't know about you guys, but when I was doing nothing but SEO, that was my biggest stumbling block. How to build quality backlinks without ending up getting the penguin thing hit me in the face. You know, so it can also help you drive backlinks. And again, the same field of dreams, if you build it doesn't mean they're going to come. You can't get backlinks by writing some content. You have to promote it. And we'll get into how to promote it later. And as you know, with the backlinks, it also helps you rank in search. If you get quality content, Panda loves you, the core algorithm loves you, it's going to help you rank. And this is the biggest one, and I'm going to have to explain the next one. This can help you grow your social media followers. Now, how many people in here have heard social media followers is a vanity metric? I mean, everybody's probably heard that at one point or another. I'm here to tell you it's not. It's really not a vanity metric. That's a whole other talk, but it's really not a vanity metric. And the biggest thing that most people really like is help you limit those email unsubscribes, spam complaints, and bounces. If you're sending out email after email after email of buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, people are going to eventually stop reading it because nobody likes people just throwing commercials out. Good content is going to help you limit your unsubscribes. But more importantly than all of that, it's a thing that's going to help your business grow. The first thing is content marketing. When you do it right, it's supposed to interest, engage, and delight whoever's reading it or looking at it or anything else. If you do that, then they're going to become brand ambassadors. They're going to buy your stuff, most likely, because they like you, they have a good reputation of your brand. They're going to try you out. And if you have a good product to go along with that good content, they're going to tell their friends. And social proof, that's partly why social media followers is not a vanity metric. Social proof is quality. That can drive sales. I mean, think about the last time you went to buy a product. Did you trust the reviews, or did you trust a friend of yours that you knew who actually has the product, whether they like it or not? There you go. All right. So let's talk about what to do, and this has happened to everybody. Why is nobody reading my content? I wrote this thing, I think it's great, but nobody's reading it. And you see that quote there? This is what everybody I've ever ran into that has this problem said. Content marketing is just a scam. It's a waste of time, it doesn't work. You know, I hear that as much as we used to hear SEO is dead, whenever somebody does something wrong or didn't do the whole chain properly. But let's talk about why that's not right, and what to do if nobody does read your content. But it's going to happen. Yeah. As you can see here. All right, so this happened to everybody. I wrote a blog that didn't do anything. Like, even the critics didn't really bother to come out. So that's when I say, ask yourself 4 very important questions. The first one, was this blog timely and was it relevant to people who were reading it? Did you have an angle Or were you just going way too broad and maybe that's why you didn't get it? Now, this third one is the biggest one that I find, especially with e-commerce people, hits them the hardest. Was your content an actual article designed for people to read and enjoy and engage with? Or were you just trying to wrap a commercial up inside a really long article and trick people? And the last thing to ask yourself is, did you promote this properly? Again, I keep saying it, but it's true. It ain't Field of Dreams. If you build it, doesn't mean they're going to come. So let's deep dive into this a little bit. Oh, and by the way, there's your lesson. This is what everybody seems to take away from one of their content fails. You tried your best and failed. Lesson is never try. Give it up. Don't ever do it again. Let's go on to something else. Let's send more spam emails. You know, so don't be like Homer. Don't be like Homer. All right, so let's look at the first question. Be relevant. Did anybody even care about what you wrote? And this one hits a lot of people because just because you think something's interesting and right doesn't mean everybody else did. And the way you can find out is remembering the first thing more than anything else. If you take away nothing else from this talk, please remember this first thing. Content research is not the same as traditional keyword research. It's just not the same. The way I look at it is, the way to remember it is two things. Content research is what do the people want. Keyword research is more like, what do I want to rank for? What do I want to be known for? So there's a difference. Content is for them, keyword ranking is for you. So once you figure that out, you gotta ask yourself, what is your article title? Because if you wrote about something that was interesting last year or 2 years ago, or if you wrote an article about Beanie Babies in 2019, nobody's gonna read that. You know, it might have been interesting once, doesn't mean it's interesting now. So, how do you find out if you're a small marketer with no budget or no time? Well, you can use the free stuff. And this free stuff is some stuff that people might know but not think to use. And everybody knows Answer the Public almost, I would assume. Google Trends, that's another one. But here's where we get into stuff like Quora and Reddit. Like, don't just look at the traditional, okay, so I want to rank for this keyword, and people might be interested in it, and I want to write content just for that so people will buy my stuff. No. If nobody's asking questions about it, nobody's going to search it, so you're not going to get found anyway. Make sure your content is interesting, and people are actually looking for this stuff. So, and again, if you have no budget, the free stuff. Answer the Public does limit you to, I think it's 5 searches a day without a paid account, but still, 5 searches, 5 quality searches is better than nothing. It's better than guessing too. Google Trends, also free. It'll tell you if your topic is going up and down in different countries. I'm sure you've all used it. And the Quora and Reddit thing, I like this because you can literally see when people ask these questions about these topics. So they're all date stamped, time stamped, and also what people are replying to with. So if you see something in your industry out there that somebody asked a question about, but the answers that are out there are garbage or just not helpful or anything like that, slide in. Like, put your answer in there. If you know it, tell people you know it. Be an expert. Now, if you have a bit of a budget, you can use the paid stuff. You know, BuzzSumo, that's one of my favorites as well. I use that a lot. Like, for example, our organization does engineering and engineer-related activities. I go to BuzzSumo, I plop in the word engineer. Past 24 hours. It's search. It'll show me everything that's being shared, everything that's being read on social media in the past 24 hours. So, BuzzSumo, if you can afford it, get it. Also, you can use things like social media listening tools like Mention or whatnot, and that's more useful for people talking about your brand. So, in this switch, you'll definitely want to know too. What are people saying about you? If you don't know what the public is saying about you, you got a problem. So make sure you're paying attention to that. And you can use what I like to call the sneaky stuff. Things that aren't really sneaky, but most people might not think to use to make content off of. Like Amazon Q&As. Go to the product page, see what people are asking about that particular product. If there's a question the customer is asking, but nobody's answering or not answering well enough, hey, I can write an article about that. You know, if you see the same question popping up again and again on similar products, write an article about it. You answer that question. If you're not there, put on your blog. So when somebody pops that question in search, what comes back? You. I also can use the competitor Q&As. If you have a competitor out there, if people are asking about them, like what features does my competitor A's widgets have? Well, if nobody's answering that, you can talk about your own widgets. You know what I mean? So you can answer that question when somebody asks it about you. So you'll be out there. And company and product reviews, same thing. If people are out there saying, what does your company do about XYZ? Answer that question. Or even better, if people are out there posting negative comments or negative questions about your company, you can literally take that and turn that into an article about why that's not so. Or, you know what I mean? So you're not like getting in a flame war with somebody, you're actually answering the question on your own forum that you control the narrative. So you can use that. And finally, these days, you can straight up ask people, what do you want to know about?
So I don't really, so I do see social media listening tools on your slide, but I don't really see any how to take back feedback from the world. And there was this new article about this tool because a lot of the social media mechanisms and whatever are removing comment sections because they want to remove dissident thought from providing feedback. But so there's some new tools for the end user to provide feedback to these places that don't even provide it.
Yep,
you know,
that's
like to
another
an
one.
HN or whatever.
Yep.
So I just wondered about how do you go and collect that?
Well, personally, at the moment, we don't at our organization, because we are a nonprofit, we don't really get into tools like that much. But what I would suggest is literally use something like, if you can use something like that, great. But again, a lot of companies might not have the budget for something like that. I don't know how much they cost. I've heard they exist. But if you have the budget, absolutely use them. You know what I mean? And also that kind of piggybacks on the next point, they're straight up asking people, like, what do you want to know? You know what I mean?
I think you need like a bot to filter that somebody is using your keyword and triggering you, trying to get your attention through media outlets that they don't know how to talk to Google or Facebook.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
Exactly. So, I mean, Mention can do this, and also BuzzSumo can do this. BuzzSumo can actually send you alerts when your brand name is mentioned. We actually have that set up in our BuzzSumo. So if somebody ever writes international site automation, we get a ping. You know, and it comes through as a digest at like 12 noon for me. It comes right to my email. I can review it all and actually see what people are saying about us. So,
It's just SEM Rush is another one that we
Yep.
use.
Yep.
SEM Rush.
eCommerce is a good one. Yep.
So can you set it up so that you can be notified when someone, say, Google's your direct competitor?
As far as somebody Googling your competitor, that I don't know. I don't think you can do something like that. I mean, you might be getting alerts all day long if something like that happens. But you can get alerts if somebody Googles, or not Googles you, but talks about you or mentions you somewhere on the web.
I'm more concerned about my competitor.
Well, see, that's another topic altogether. But for me, personally, I'm going to say something that might be controversial here, but as for me, I always tell people when I was doing agency work to be more worried about your own site instead of what your neighbors doing. You know what I mean? Because 9 times out of 10, a lot of people have humongous flaws on their own page that they got to swear over before they worry about what's going on next door. But yeah, I can definitely see competitor
I'm
analysis.
not a business intelligence company, I'm not concerned about us.
Awesome.
Just once again, SEM Rush.
I have it,
Oh, you
they
have it?
don't quite do what I've been in contact with their technical people, they don't quite do what we need.
I guess we kind of know what you need help.
They're director of marketing.
We usually do like an ad analysis of a competitor, for example.
Yeah.
Simple stuff. but, yeah.
They're working on what I've asked for.
Cool.
Sure, if there's another tool out there that maybe I missed.
Awesome. Sounds good. But yeah, and the other thing is like straight up ask people. I mean, there are so many tools you can get information and feedback from your audience and people who visit your site. I mean, you've got Hotjar. We run Hotjar at ISA. We have a Hotjar poll on our checkout. Now, everybody's going to say, I don't like polls. They pop up. They make me mad. No. You actually collect good feedback and data from people. And you also want to be careful with the questions you ask people, because you don't only want positive answers, you want true answers. Because if everybody's just blowing smoke, it's not going to help you grow. So you can ask people, what do you want to know about Hotjar? Send out survey monkeys or emails. You know, there's lots of ways you can just ask people, what do you want? And the biggest thing, content is not about you. It's about your audience. That's one thing you definitely have to remember. It's not about you. All right. So the second question, be original. Did you have an angle with this whole thing? Or, you know, so first thing I say, a couple months ago, EAT was the thing you heard everywhere. Now it's domain authority, but EAT was the thing you hear everywhere. That's not a new thing. It's always really kind of been there. You know what I mean? And it's definitely not new for your audience. They want expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. You know what I mean? So you have to show that you are that person. Don't worry about searches when it comes to that. I'm going to get stoned for saying that, but don't. Worry about your audience. And also, you got to ask yourself, did a more trusted brand cover that exact same topic you wrote? That's something that could drive a click away from you. If you went head-to-head with somebody like Levi's or about just jeans in general, who are they going to click? Jim Bob's House of Duds or Levi's? You know, they're going to put Levi's on the 10. So, that goes to the next thing. Go target. Again, back to the jeans thing. If you sell pants, don't write about just pants. Write about, one, how do you get stains out of pants? And how you got a little this space. Write about how to get, get stains out. Write a guide. You know, care tips. Like how to choose pants. Like I had a client with this guy in front when I was running the company that literally sold work pants. Well, they were going head to head with a bunch of people just on work pants. They came up with guys. This was work clothes, so it was like, how do you choose the best pair of pants for a carpenter? What about a painter? How do you get grease stains out of a mechanic's uniform? They were stuff about that, and it worked. They ended up ranking first for terms like Dickies and stuff like that. They were highly competitive, but they ended up ranking first because they had guys that people liked, people used, and people kept getting. And another thing we had another client that was expert at this next one. Use the personal touches that the bigger guys in your field just don't do, or don't have time to do. Another client we had a client that sold household goods like linens, towels, sheets, bamboo mattresses, and stuff like that. Well, on their website, as soon as you hit their page, a picture popped up for a chat guy, and it was the actual customer service rep. And he said, "Hi, my name is so-and-so, how can I help you today?" And it wasn't just that one thing that now everybody jumped on that bandwagon. They also, when you would buy something, they would send you out a handwritten thank you card with your purchase. Guess what? That's content. That is content. But it's touches like that that you create, that people will remember you for, and tell their friends about that experience. They also wrote guides and things like that too for how to use the products they sold and how to one about how to decorate your bedroom and all these old sheets. You know what I mean? They didn't just promote their products; they made useful content. So make sure you do that. And again, this is particularly useful in highly competitive markets and industries because, again, most of the times, if you sell novelty t-shirts in Buffalo, New York, you're not going to go up against somebody like Amazon and rank number one t-shirts. I mean, it's probably not going to happen, So go personal. Make people talk about you. Make them remember who you are. And good content is way to do that. And this is the big one. Big one. Be useful. Be useful. I'm going to say it again. Be useful. Ask yourself, was what you wrote just a big old commercial? Was it an ad? Or was it actually useful content that people can consume? Marketers sell things. Everybody in this room probably is in the business of selling things. But everybody who's an actual consumer, when they go home at 5 o'clock, wherever they go home, they don't want to be sold stuff. They don't want commercials shoved down their throats. We have ad blockers. You can pay YouTube to skip the commercials for like 30 seconds in front of the video. People don't want to be sold things. So the biggest thing is don't try to trick people. Don't disguise promotional material about your products as an article. Just don't do that. People hate it, and especially if you do something like a product comparison. But imagine it. You're trying to look for like 2 TVs, trying to decide between 2 different TVs. And you find a product comparison, and you read the whole thing, and TV B seems incredible. And TV A just seems like garbage. And then at the very bottom of the article, after you read all that, there's a little disclaimer. No, this was written by the manufacturer of TV B. You just wasted all that time because now you know it's a big old commercial. You know what I mean? Just don't do that. That's a shame. Don't do that. And again, you've heard this probably a million times too. If there's no reason for this article to exist, do not write the article. Blogging, just because it's Tuesday, it doesn't work. There's too much junk on the internet now. We need to write more junk and put it out there. It's never going to get found. Nobody's going to engage with it. Nobody's going to share it. It's garbage. Garbage in, garbage out. Same thing. Don't blog for the sake of blogging. So what you want to do is you want to answer customer questions. You want to be useful to people. I mean, just be useful. That's the biggest bottom line here. And if you have company news you do want to spread out, make sure it's interesting. Nobody cares about your new vending machine in the break room. But if you're out in the community, like helping for Habitat for Humanity or ASPCA, that's what people want to hear about. You know, so make sure if you're spreading company news, be useful and make sure people want to read it, something everybody can get. And just again, just save the pitches for your ads. Don't trick people. Don't be janky. Nobody likes it. And the last question to ask yourself, I think it's the last question, be seen. Did you tell people this article even exists? Again, like I said 500 times, this ain't Field of Dreams. Just because you built it does not mean that they're going to come. You know, you can't. Gone are the days when you can write a thing and just put it out there and have people just run to it. It's not going to happen. You might as well just give that up right now. So what you want to do is you want to use all your channels to promote. If you do email marketing, you want to use that. Social media, you're going to do that. Your own website, if you have like a news feed or a slider on your homepage, you're going to use that. Anything that you can do in your control to promote your article, that's what you're going to do if you want to be seen. Also, make sure you ask yourself, when you wrote the thing, was it SEO friendly? Did you mark it up with schema? Did you use your H1 tags properly, your H tags properly? Did you use content blocks? There's something, if you're not aware of it, most of you probably are being at the meetup. Gutenberg is a thing WordPress is doing, and content block styles are kind of getting to be a big deal now. So if you don't know what that is, when you go home, go ahead and Google that and check out and see what that's all about. And if you have something really, really big to promote, you can even go out of the box. Now, personally, I don't do this because I get that much big to promote, but if you do, you can do things like a Reddit Ask Me Anything. So you can do that, or you can do a Twitter chat with the author of the article. So, I mean, just to get people more excited about it, you know, hey, I'm talking to the guy, I'm talking to the lady who wrote it, you know, something like that. Or you can even do a Facebook Live video premiere, saying like, hey, 5 minutes, we're about to drop this article about XYZ, you know, make sure you check it out kind of thing. But look, if you do this, whatever you release had better be the best thing since sliced bread. Because you can't hype up something like that and then drop like, we just sold 2 things today. You know, this is like, gee, thanks. You know what I mean? So make sure if you do an out-of-the-box promo, like Ask Me Anything or Twitter chat, or especially the Facebook Live premiere, please don't do a Facebook Live premiere with some boring content coming behind it. Just don't do that. People are going to look at you like you're nuts. So just remember, with this one, if you don't tell people it exists, how are you going to know it's a thing? You know? Oh, and this also is, if you're trying to do all this on social media without paying for it, you might have a bad time. Because it's basically just pay to play when it comes to that. We'll get into that later. But, I mean, organic social is good, but with the algorithm changes, you're going to have a bad time if you're trying to do this only with organic social. And so now we come to the no time thing. How long does this all take? This is just an example that I personally would use, but you can do whatever you would think when you've got time for. So I recommend doing like BuzzSumo, Google Trends, certain type stuff, maybe 2 hours. 2 hours a week. I mean, you're not going to kill yourself if you do it less than that, but just make sure you do it before you write. That's the biggest thing. Do the research before you write the content. Because there's nothing worse than writing 10 articles and it comes back, nobody's looking for any of this stuff. You know, so about 2 hours for that. Social media listening, hot jar polls. Well, hot jar polls, that's easy. Those alerts will come straight to you in an email. You can just look at them when you have time. You know, just make sure you look at them. But I personally do about 30 minutes a day to analyze it in about 2.5 hours a week total. And you can set up alerts like we were talking about before with BuzzSumo when somebody mentions your name to come straight to your email. So I get my digest about noon every day and look at them during my lunch break. But it's totally up to you. But I don't recommend doing more than 2.5 hours a week total and stuff like that. With your Quora, your Reddits, and your Q&A research, give it about 2 hours a week. Because again, depending on your industry, those questions might not pop up so often. Like for us with industrial automation, they come few and far between. But you might be in a very active industry, so you might do a little bit more. But just don't do it to the point of overkill, because you're never going to answer every question. So just find the important ones and take care of those. And actually writing your articles, this all depends on you. If you're good, it's not going to take you like 8 hours. But if you're not, you might need some help. You know? So that's all about you. But don't stress yourself out. So, you know, and if you had a look at this total, It's about 8 hours total, my actual thing that I actually do. So, and think about that. You have about 32 hours in a typical work week for other stuff to get done. You know, so there's no time for it. You mean, you got 8 hours in a week, you got this. Yeah. So, and also, the bottom thing, don't burn yourself out. Don't try to do all these things in one day. Break it up over the week. I know a lot of people like to block out like 8 hours in a day and just knock out everything they've got. Don't do that. I mean, you can if you want to, but I just kind of don't recommend you burn yourself out. But finally, how do I promote my content? This is the big one, because you can write anything in the world and you didn't tell anybody, then they're not gonna know. You know, and this one, I like this quote too. No secret about success. You're real successful, man. Didn't tell you about it. You know, everybody wants to just be up there with everything and let you know. So, let's start with email marketing. How can you use these blog articles in your email? First, if you have a newsletter, just put it in a newsletter. Easy, right? Takes you like 10 seconds. You can also use this stuff as lead magnets. If you have a really interesting article, use them in your email sign-up forms. Hey, you've seen it a million times. Download this white paper now. Give us your email address. You know, people say they don't like them. I don't like them, but guess what? They work. That's what people still do it. You know, when they stop working, people will stop doing it, but for now, they work. All right. You can even do a one-off blast or a re-engagement campaign. If somebody hasn't opened your stuff in a long time, show them what you're doing. Send it out. Like, hey, this is the latest happenings at this organization, or this is something we just did. You know, it might get them to open your emails to see what you've been up to. So you can do that. And make sure, the biggest thing, make sure you segment your lists and you target properly. Don't just send an entire blast to your database because you feel like it. Make sure this is going to be relevant to something they read, or you're going to get spam complaints. You're going to get unsubscribes. So if somebody bought like a hat, don't send them pants hair tips. You know what I mean? So just make sure it's relevant. You don't want to unsubscribe, you don't want to spam complaints. On your actual website. That's the next thing. If you have a news section, a lot of people still have a news section on their site, just put it there. Simple as that, right? If you're still a little bit old school, using sliders and panels on your homepage and stuff like that, put one there. Why not? Easy. It'll pop up right there. People come to your site, they'll see that. Now here's another one that some people might not think about. Linking to your content from a relevant product. So in other words, if you have like your pants, go back to the pants. I like pants. Everybody likes pants. Anyway, if you have a pants product, right, and you wrote a guide on how to get stains out of pants, or how to choose the good, you know, pants for carpenters or pants for painters, just put a link on the site. Simple as that. Leave a little description. Like, you ever seen people around the holiday season saying, this is our gift guide, you know, recommend these presents or whatnot. Just keep one there all day. The people find it easy. They're looking for pants anyway, right? They might want to see that. And again, speaking of gift guides, make content collections. Most of you guys might be doing this already around the holidays, but you can do this for all year round. You know, just because it's not the holiday season doesn't mean people want to give them presents. Doesn't mean people aren't looking for pants. Doesn't mean people aren't looking for tips on how to keep what they bought from you nice. You know, and if you show people that you care enough to create these things, they'll bring your brand reputation. People like that sort of thing. So make sure we're doing it. And social media. Social media marketing. That is going to be a big one. At least it is for us. That with our content, that's one of our biggest channels. So the thing to remember when you're doing social media is that use all channels that you have that are appropriate for this particular piece of content. So in other words, if you are an educational institution and you found a funny meme or something like that that you want to share out, you don't want to do that on LinkedIn most likely. I mean, I guess you could, but it depends on how your audience reacts to it. I would personally say save that for Instagram, save that for like Snapchat if you're on there. Something that is known for being fun. You know what I mean? Don't put your serious stuff in your serious channels and your fun stuff on your fun channels. And if when in doubt, just drop it on Facebook. That's what I do. It seems to work well. And also, here's the biggest thing that I actually, at my current position, had to tell myself. Don't be afraid to be informal with your posts. I don't care if you are, like I am, a nonprofit organization for engineers, or something more you would think is a serious industry. People like that. I'll tell you what, we put memes and jokes on our Instagram account. Those get more engagement than our super dry technical papers. People like that. The same audience too, same engineers who like our other stuff more than like this stuff. So don't be afraid, experiment, see what works for you, and make sure you're doing it on the appropriate channels. Again, don't drop emojis and stuff like that on LinkedIn, that might not go well.
I'm just curious by engagement, what do you mean in this case? Just a like or
Likes, comments, clicks, all that. Like, you can name it, they did it. Because, like, I'll give you an example. We did a side-by-side kind of thing. We took the same actual article content, and we made different cover images on our Instagram account for it. And one was literally like a joke, funny kind of image and stuff like that, of somebody just kind of being confused by what they were working on. And then we had a serious stock image of somebody doing the work or whatnot. The funny one got so many more click-throughs and so much more likes and shares and comments on it. I mean, don't be afraid to test it out. It may not work. If it doesn't work, abandon it and go do something else. Go back to what does work, but don't be afraid to test. Test it.
So are you going to talk to, at a later point in your talk, marking your content links so that you can tell who has distributed your content on social media and what have you? I mean, I get emails and stuff all the time, and I actually go in and remove these things because I don't want to be tracked.
Oh, like the pixels, you mean?
Well, not just pixels, but like if there's a link to your content in an email, you'll click on the link, you go there. When you tweet that or whatever, that link will go forward because it's part of the URL parameters arguments.
Oh, the UTM codes.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Actually, we haven't ran into that. It seems like all the stuff we share with our UTM codes, people just share it out. You know what I mean? So, like, some people do strip the UTM codes out. We're aware of that.
Well, no, I'm just, I understand the purpose for it. I don't want to be tracked, but other people don't mind, like you. Or they're not aware of it, but nobody talks about how to make use of that information. So,
make use of people removing it out?
No, I mean, the reason you're putting it in is so that you
We
can
can
get useful information out of, like, who are you targeting?
Right. I mean, you can't.
You don't want to bother people with your lolcats if they don't like lolcats, but if somebody is retweeting them, then.
Exactly. That's why we keep that out of our email stuff and we keep it on our social stuff. You know what I mean? So we kind of like, again, we do split testing a lot. So we'll take a piece of content and we'll share two different images like we were talking about a second ago. And if the serious image gets more reactions from people, because you got to remember, at the end of the day, you got to get mass appeal. You know what I mean? If one or two, in our case, grumpy old engineers, they don't like the funny stuff,
Sorry, I like grumpy old.
But yeah, I mean, you got to know your audience too. This is part of knowing your audience. So if you're trying to reach like the younger people or people who do like stuff like that, you got to customize and tailor your message to them. You know what I mean? But we have had people say this. We've had people complain about hard hat colors. We were saying people want our pictures, and they can attest to that. They also work with me. That sometimes people get called out like, that person's supposed to be an engineer. Why is their hard hat orange? It's supposed to be white. You know what I mean? And we've had people actually come out and say, how come that person in that Adobe stock photo is not wearing eye protection? I don't know. So, man, you can't please everybody, but please the mass. You know what I mean? So, you got something like that. So, and again, split testing, because he does have a very good point. Some people just won't respond to that, especially for certain pieces of content. So split test. Test everything. It's like anything else you do for landing pages, emails, test it.
We have this problem, I think you're describing with UTM on social media, because we do marketing for like this company that markets to young kids, so it's all social.
Yeah.
Or millennials, whatever. But anyway, so the problem was that we kept breaking our analytics because they would reshare links with UTM in it, and at a point they stopped adding it because it was useless. So there's not a good solution out there for resharing the links.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know, like you said, I don't think there is a good quality for that. But I'll tell you one thing though, I have noticed this, and I've noticed the hard way at certain places. I personally think, and again, you might see a different reaction from what you've seen, but I think tracking something is better than just leaving off all the tracking information, because we've had a problem where we weren't tracking anything. And we had no idea how much our ROI was. If we had an ROI, we clicked on it, just nothing. We were throwing it in the ether and was like, okay, here you go, have a thing. You know what I mean? So,
Totally agree. In our case, it's different because it was for a music festival event. So it was a very short time period, so we basically knew all the traffic was coming from social, but it just kept breaking from where exactly.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, totally, you should track something.
exactly. Cool. But yeah, like, again, test everything. But yeah, that problem is just a problem I haven't done a good way. In fact, if anybody has, send me a tweet about that, because I'd like to know. So, also, when you make your content though, create a nice image for Instagram and Pinterest. And here's another funny story about what we actually do. You wouldn't think there'd be a lot of industrial engineers on Pinterest. Surprisingly enough, there are. I mean, who knew, right? You know what I mean? Traditional channels you might not think are for your industry or your brand. Try it, see what you actually get. Give it a test. You don't lose anything. You know, give it a shot. And also, I like to use short links for Instagram because, as you probably know, Instagram does not let you put live links in an individual post. That's why people always say, go to our profile picture, go to our profile. But if you do Instagram in bulk and you want to put links in there, what I like to do is I like to use short links because they can be typed out. Make sure you change the trailing slash after it, with like Bitly or something, so it's not like you're trying to type in small x, big W, little q, you know what I mean, and nobody's gonna do it. So use short links for that. And finally, the biggest tip I can have for you, if you touch social media in any way, shape, or form, you probably heard this a billion times, but some people does not give up that ghost. Pay for your social media. I'm gonna say that again, except for LinkedIn. Pay for your social media. Some people are trying to live on organic social. I mean, the algorithm hates you. You know, your followers aren't even seeing your content most of the time. It's just pay for social media. Put like $50, $100, $200, depending on who you're trying to reach, but just pay something. Because you're not gonna run a business or an organization on organic social. And this is my personal opinion, you might disagree with me, but paid LinkedIn to me is a dumpster fire. I tried it, I didn't like it. It might not have been my industry, it might be what I was doing. Maybe I broke it, I don't know, but every time I've used paid LinkedIn, it ends up just burning my budget, giving me nothing, and I personally don't like it. But you might see different results. Again, test everything. And the biggest thing is like anything else. Identify your goals and your KPIs before you do anything. So with content marketing, you must realize one very big thing that your bosses probably ain't gonna like and you might not like, but it's the truth. Dollars are not gonna be your immediate conversion, most likely. Most of the time, I'm gonna say that again, 9 times out of 10, dollars are not going to be your immediate conversion. They'll come, that's not what your immediate conversion. So you're gonna customize that content for your particular goal. If you want to increase your email subscribers, you're going to give them a reason to be your email subscriber, whether that's lead magnet, whatever. Make sure you're customizing it for whatever your particular goal with that piece of content actually is. And again, to back up the whole dollars are not going to be your immediate conversion, realize that content marketing is usually done to warm up an audience, to give your brand a bigger name, to make people think of you in a positive light. Dollars will come, but it's not immediate. And also, the biggest thing to do as well, not everything you do is going to be a winner. You're going to fail. It's going to happen. You can do everything I say, everything anybody else says. Not everything is going to be a winner. I mean, things are just going to flop. You can do anything. Just be aware, expect that, learn from it, and just grow from there. And don't give up. So, go back to the no budget thing. How much does it cost to do all this stuff? Well, if you're going to do an email or your website, well, that's how much you pay for your workers. You know what I mean? How much do you pay your web guys? How much do you pay your email marketers? That's up to you. Social media. It depends on what countries you want to target. And this is something that we as an international organization has figured out. If you're targeting like the US, the UK, Canada, and Australia and Norway for some reason or unmentionably expensive to pay for, it's going to be way more expensive than to target things like Sri Lanka, India, Nigeria, and we target them too because there are a lot of engineers in those countries. And so we've noticed that for us, And again, we had to test this to make sure. For us, it was better to do 2 versions of the same actual ad with different country targeting in order to not have your entire budget that you wanted for your ad to go to the US, Canada, Nigeria, and India to not be completely spent in India. You know what I mean? So you'll want to either split test that for yourself or just give it a try, but just be aware the costs are different in different countries. And so my suggestion is when you're trying this out, try about $400 a month if you can afford it. You can do a little bit less if you can, but $400 a month is usually pretty good for the US, UK, Canada. Just see what it does. You can adjust from there if you're saying that it's not doing enough for you, you're not reaching enough people or whatnot, but that's what I say to start with. And about $300 a month in the developing markets, depending on what you're looking for. And so, again, it all depends on how many people you want to reach with your message. And again, best results, I've noticed this from testing, don't boost your posts. I've noticed I get better results when I do actual ads. Carousel ads are really good for certain things, like we have different links to point people to, like we have different pieces of content, use carousel ads. Also video ads, they have far, far greater engagement, click-throughs, and everything else that I've seen, except for single image ads. So carousels, videos are definitely the way to go. So if you can, do that. So that shouldn't cost you too much because the ad formats are the same price no matter what you pick. And the bottom thing, pro tip, LinkedIn to me is super expensive. And honestly, the CPC is usually through the roof. So if you have a low budget, I do not recommend LinkedIn. I just don't. Yeah.
Just on your comment about boosting posts, you're saying that relative to ad or paid ad, right? But
yes.
Is, in your opinion, is boosting better than organic?
Oh, anything's better than organic. I mean, throwing your paper out the window and hoping somebody picks it up is better than organic.
So in other words, you run through your budget in a month, then you boost as opposed to.
Personally, if you don't have much budget at all, like you say you only have like $100 to do, I would literally run a $100 ad before I tell you to boost the post. Because like I've tried boosting posts and I've tried doing an ad of the same actual content, and it might be the algorithm, it might be something else. I haven't really did a deep dive into why, but when it comes to click-throughs and engagements, likes, shares, comments, and all that, the ads always win. I don't know why that is, but to me, from what I've seen, they always win. So again, boosting a post is better than organic, but if you have a choice, do the ad 100% of the time. But again, you'll want to split test that, of course.
So can you run a good test on an ad versus organic where your time period is the same?
Oh yeah. I would recommend doing it the same exact time period because, again, if somebody, say you target the ad to hit people who have visited your website, and maybe that same person also goes to your social media accounts all the time, they're going to see that again and again. You don't want that. I mean, you can do it, but I would recommend doing maybe back to back. You know what I mean? Like post it on organic, and there is a way you can take a post down from maybe either just delete it or you can schedule it in advance to end at a certain date from your newsfeed. So you can do that, and then run an ad right after that. So you just test it out, make sure it works for you. Because I don't really like telling people you must do this, but test it, and this is what I've seen. But I will tell everybody one thing. Again, LinkedIn. LinkedIn. It's a trash fire when it comes to cost per click for me. You know what I mean? Again, it might be great for you, depending on your industry, but I'll tell you a story about that in 1 second.
The LinkedIn thing, when's the last time you tried it? Because I tried it like a year and a half ago, it was terrible, I'm just curious.
That's when I tried it. That's when I tried it.
Usually when you try it now, it changed.
Well,
Same,
Oh, you
same
still
thing?
same thing?
Still no fire?
There's new options, but it's garbage.
Okay.
Terrible.
Let me tell you a quick story about what happened when I ran the LinkedIn ad the last time and why I'll never do it again personally. We were testing it out at a different company, not this organization, but a different company. We wanted to test out a LinkedIn ad just to see how it would work for us because it was a healthcare industry, right? So we put it on there and we said, let's test it out. Let's give it a budget of $200 for a week just to see what it does. And well, what happened was we did it at 10 a.m., right? 10 a.m. Go to lunch at 12. I come back just to see what's happening because I like to see results really quickly. I look at the ad. Don't you know LinkedIn has spent my $200 and kept on spending? It just kept on going. It was like, are you kidding me? Did I break this thing? So I thought, I did it wrong, because when you do something for the first time, you think, maybe I just didn't know what I was doing. So I actually got on the phone to a couple people, I'm like, is this ever happening? And their immediate reaction was, oh yeah, this thing's trash. You know, so we ended up having to take the credit card out of the billing for LinkedIn in order to make it stop. You know, and that's why no matter how many people want to do LinkedIn, and I'm gonna tell my coworkers, I will never do LinkedIn. So, especially for a nonprofit, we ain't got that kind of money.
Or really for anything.
Exactly.
I've used it for multiple industries. It's bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's just too expensive, and we usually get better results on every other. You name the other channel, we get better results on it.
You know, so I didn't know where your sentiment from LinkedIn came from, and I appreciate your backstory on that. Has anybody on LinkedIn ads tried to feed back to, now Microsoft owns LinkedIn? I'm surprised that there's as much negative sentiment, and has anybody fed back?
We have a pretty strong connection with LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Now, mind you, my business is not looking for normal salespeople.
Huh?
I'm talking to chief executives and venture capitalists.
Right.
And pretty much I don't want to talk to anyone else.
Mhm.
But the realistic part is we spend about $1,000 once a quarter on LinkedIn for a day. We pick a specific day. Admittedly, usually it's a Friday afternoon at the end of a quarter or right at the beginning of a quarter. We're targeting, we know when to look. And we will pick up, if I pick up one client in case for the year, if I pick 2 clients up, it's great. I don't really care. Again, I'm looking for a different type of business client.
Right.
However, Microsoft now has about 24 people who are dealing with the problem you dealt with.
Mhm.
Get on the phone with them, tell them they will refund your money above your budget
Nice.
as long as you entered your budget.
Okay.
If you did it internally and you told your staff, but you didn't tell them, you didn't type in, $200 and $250,
Right.
they're not gonna help you. But
Makes
if you
sense.
typed it in,
Mhm.
and I believe, I'm not saying this for certain,
Yeah.
but I believe they now have, I won't say a fix, but a warning.
Okay.
Have you told us your budget? Like, it doesn't say exactly that, but
Mm-hmm.
they're a lot better than they were when they first bought LinkedIn. And I think at the beginning, they just weren't aware of the problem.
So what you're saying is what I'd expect, but, I'm sure Microsoft and LinkedIn don't want you as a presenter
They,
telling a room full of people never to use LinkedIn. So
I
I
give them feedback. I talk to the
Yeah.
person that represents our firm at Microsoft probably once a month.
Yeah.
And probably once a month I tell them, hey, I'm not gonna tell you which meetup, but I went to a meetup and you got trashed again.
Yeah, well, and if I hear a problem like, there's no off button, or there's no
Right.
cutoff and stuff like that, that's, if I hear that, that's walking away from that company, in
Right.
terms of.
Right.
So you mentioned about Facebook ads. Just curious, like for B2B customers who are in the different,
Mhm.
who are in the business of services providing to another businesses.
Right.
Just curious, what's your take on that? I mean, is Facebook a good platform for that?
Believe it or not, it is. We actually do a lot of B2B for our training courses. And we have so much interest coming through from that. In fact, we did, just last week, we had 3 huge training courses in our building. And we went downstairs, we took a lot of pictures, we took some video, and we just put it up on the thing organically. And we even put this has been a busy week, I had to say, kind of post out there, and we paid for it, right? Next day, we had people like sending us messages saying, hey, I've got 6 people here in Vietnam I want to set up a private class for. We had to send them a sales. Next day, we had people saying, like, I also want to get this training. I've got 10 people here. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're getting pretty good results from that. Because usually you got to remember too, you would think LinkedIn would be the great B2B channel, and it probably is. I just don't mess with it. But you got to remember how many people are actually on Facebook. You know what I mean? You've got the same decision makers most likely. They don't be looking for, make connections there, but if they see something, or a low-level employee says, hey, like a training class, for example, this looks interesting, let me go talk to my boss. You know what I mean? The boss will talk to sales, you know what I mean? So you gotta remember, even though Facebook isn't thought of as a B2B thing, the same people are usually on Facebook as they're on LinkedIn. So that's what you want to, yeah.
You haven't mentioned anything about like niche forums and stuff. Do you find those to be like too energy sucking to stay involved in those, or?
It depends. Like for us, it's kind of hard because we work with engineers, and if you say the wrong information to an engineer, you're going to get roasted. I mean, there's no 2 ways
I'm
about it.
very aware of that.
You better put an SME, subject matter expert, in those forums. If you have one on staff, great. But if you don't, again, it's more like people who don't have big budgets, big lot of time. But if you have it, absolutely use it. If you don't, because you will become a thought leader if you give good information. But if you don't, we shy away from it because we don't have a lot of subject matter experts on staff because we are a nonprofit who can actually go into the forums and get on them and talk. So we're not sending our marketing guys in there, you know, trying to tell you, here's how you calibrate a thermocouple. We don't know, you know what I mean? So yeah, we try to steer clear of that, but if you can do it, definitely do it. That's probably the big thing.
Well, and just to point on that, I didn't hear you at all in your talk mention literacy, and it's really important to have the people writing your content be literate and be able to speak English in written form.
I'll tell you a story about that in a second. Okay, so we have volunteer sections of our organization. They all have their own social media accounts. I'll just put it this way, some quality is better than others. You know what I mean? So if you are in the headquarters like we are, make sure you're pushing out regulations. Like, okay, make sure somebody's proofreading your content, make sure you're not self-promoting. Make sure you're not promoting a local bar crawl on an engineering website. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with the organization. So you have to have some kind of oversight. But again, if you're at a headquarters, push them out. But again, if you're dealing with like a lot of volunteer sections, as you will be at a nonprofit, it might be hard to do, but make sure you do. You don't want people, that makes your whole brand look bad with things like that. So make sure you're reeling it back, bringing that in when you see it. Okay, and finally, my name is Sciulli. I am digital marketing lead at the International Society of Automation. I'm also the owner and author of Smokehouse SEO. That's just smokehouseseo.com. You can follow me on Twitter at SCIN383, S with a C, SCIN383. And you can follow my blog at smokehouseseo.com. That gets updated every other Wednesday. So here you go. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
So we've got a few minutes to hang out and chat and socialize, get any other last minute questions that folks have. Quick question, Chris, I'll throw you on the spot. Are you going to come out and get a drink at the Rookies?
I'm getting a wisdom tooth cake tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. So show of hands. There'll be a few of us that are going to Rookies. Anybody else show? All right, so there are a few people. One thing that I like to seed that networking event with is looking across the room. Who here knows about a online marketing or a marketing job that is open? Either they're hiring or they know someone that's hiring, can connect someone with a place that's hiring? One?
Just me.
All right. So you're going to be popular, I think, here in a minute. Who here is looking for a marketing job? 1, 2, 3. All right, so 3 to 1. Looks like it's a buyer's market. Anyway, so you guys saw whose hands were up. You know who to chat with in the networking. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions before? Yeah.
So Bing is now getting into this ad space. Can you tell me something? And will there be a clash with LinkedIn since Microsoft owns?
That is more of, you're Bing TBC, right?
The Bing search engine, they're trying to become a Google. So,
Gotcha.
And they're selling ads.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm not an expert at BBC, so I really couldn't give an opinion one way or the other on that. But when it comes to Bing in general, they're a thing, but at the end of the day, I personally try to optimize for the bigger dogs, like Google and whatnot. But again, I'm not a BBC expert, so you might want to refer to someone who would. And I know we got at least one here.
Oh, this
guy.
Duck out of the way.
So, how do you quantify if your, efforts on creating blog posts in this particular context, or the, let's say, awareness stage of the buyer's journey, is working? What do you look for? What do you guys do?
It depends. Again, it all goes back to the bottom line of all of it is, what do you want people to do once they read it? So like, for example, we run some campaigns where we don't care if you click, we just want you to see, or like a TV commercial basically. Like we see a TV commercial, they don't expect you to get up off the couch and run out to the store. It's just the next time you need this, they have it. You know what I mean? So it depends on what you want. We have some like that, and then we have some that we want you to click and come through just to read an article. We don't really care if you buy anything. We just want you to see what we have, who we're all about. And then we have some where we want you, okay, now we want you to sell to. But with me personally, what I like to do with those two, the first one I talked about, the one where I just want you to see, know that we exist, we're a thing, and I want you to read our articles, that's what I use to warm up audiences with. And then when I want to hit them with a sale, I just retarget those audiences with those pages and put the relevant ads. It depends on what you want. Then they take the next step that you want. Okay. Any other questions? No? All right. Well, thanks again.
Oh, yeah.